Harry's Wife, Part 100.26, Overshadow Diana. Hello, I'm HGTudor. You're no doubt aware that just recently it was the 25th anniversary of the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, when she lost her life in a car accident in a Paris underpass. Narcissists hate attention going elsewhere. It wounds us. No fuel is being provided to us, fuel being our lifeblood, and the fact that attention is on somebody else signals to us that we're not important, that we don't matter. It causes the narcissist to feel weak, vulnerable, unimportant. And the narcissism ignites the fury, be it cold or heated, to compel the narcissist to behave in a particular way to ensure that that threat to control posed by the ignoring the narcissist is dealt with. The narcissist may erupt in a heated tirade, throwing glasses around at a family event so all eyes are then on the narcissist, or cause the narcissist to dole out a pity play, a wailing and a weeping at a funeral, so that all eyes are upon them rather on the deceased's coffin. Where it's somebody else's birthday party, somebody else's wedding, somebody else's anniversary, it means the attention is going somewhere else. The fuel that should be coming to us is going to somebody else. Invariably, they don't need that fuel. The narcissist is wounding, and wounding is the worst thing that you can ever do to a narcissist. And accordingly, the self-defense mechanism that is the narcissism galvanizes to ensure that attention is brought back onto the narcissist in some shape or form, thus reasserting control and drawing fuel. We know that Harry's wife regularly engages in this behaviour. The announcement of her pregnancy in relation to Princess Beatrice's nuptials. That whenever the Duchess of Cambridge releases a photograph, Harry's wife has to do something in order to compete against it. And it would appear also that as a consequence of the recent anniversary of the death of the mother of her husband, she is at it again. You will, of course, from parts past him, have understood that Harry's wife duplicates Diana. She does so because she believes that she's the embodiment of her when she's nothing like her. Furthermore, she does so because she tries to portray the role of Diana towards Harry to cause him to have married his mother, using that vulnerability that he suffered, the loss of his mother at an early age, and using it against him. Using it against him in terms of triangulating him with it, to talk about how the firm caused her death, to unleash that anger within Harry, to utilise her own false compassion by saying she understands what it must be like to lose a parent, because ineffectively she has done so as a consequence of her father's behaviour, meaning she had to ostracise him, even though, of course, we know that that is a lie as a consequence of the material put forward by Tom Bauer in his publication Revenge. She uses Diana for the purposes of mirroring, to draw Harry to her, for a point of false compassion, to say to Harry, I understand that it must be so difficult for you, having lost your mother at such a young age, false compassion, and then, of course, to apparently stand shoulder to shoulder with Harry and say, I know what it's like to be an outsider like you, and I know that they let your mother down. They effectively caused her death. Notwithstanding all of this supposed compassion for Harry and his circumstances, because she's a narcissist, in the next breath, she will trample all over the memory of Diana by stealing the thunder. And Radar tells us Harry's wife's bombshell interview was scheduled to coincide with the anniversary of Princess Diana, Princess of Wales' death. An article by Radar staff tells us Harry's wife's explosive interview was scheduled on purpose to coincide with the anniversary of Princess Diana's passing. Harry's wife and her PR team carefully scheduled her first big interview after her bombshell sit-down with Oprah Winfrey to run the same week as the 25th anniversary of the Princess of Wales' death, sources tell Radar. Some people say it was scheduled to coincide with the debut of Harry's wife's podcast, but that happened last week. No, it was scheduled to debut the week of Diana's death, insiders revealed to RadarOnline.com. Part of the agreement Harry's wife's team made with the outlet was that it had to debut the week of August 29th. Harry's wife was not given copy or photo approval, but she was given a guarantee when the interview would run. This wasn't to compete with her late mother-in-law's tragic anniversary, but rather to complement it. Well, that's not correct at all. It was done to compete with it because she has to compete for the purposes of making the attention about her and not about Diana. What better time for Harry's wife to talk about how she was treated by the royal family, i.e. bringing attention back onto her, the same family who was so cruel to Princess Diana, asks her pal. Harry's wife knows exactly what she's doing. Not only did she schedule the interview to run this week, but she also worked with Spotify to make sure her podcast debuted this month too. She doesn't know that she's doing it to assert control or draw fuel or gain character traits or residual benefits. She knows that she scheduled it to coincide with the anniversary. Her narcissism tells her that she's doing it for compassionate reasons, to be a kindred spirit with Diana. But we all know, as a consequence of my expert analysis, that the genuine reason that she's doing this is because it makes her get attention. And it takes attention away from Diana, or leverages the attention that would go to Diana to place it upon her. Returning to the article, insiders add that they expect Harry's wife to lean even more into Diana's legacy. Harry's wife thinks this is a winning formula. She has given up on trying to win the support of the Brits. Now she's focused exclusively on America, our sources tell us. Good luck with that. Her strategy worked. As RadarOnline.com exclusively reported, Harry's wife's shocking interview with the cut caused chaos at the palace, with Prince Harry's family calling emergency meetings to figure out how to clean up the Duchess of Sussex's latest mess. I actually rather think they're all rolling around laughing at it. Sources told us the family was not given a heads up about the sit-down, in which Harry's wife slammed the British media, brought up racist allegations again, and addressed being cut off from the royals. We revealed that Prince Charles and Prince William were butting heads over how to respond to her accusations. Royal spies revealed to this website the family is shocked and upset over her claims, leaving William wanting to respond to his sister-in-law's allegations and Charles demanding everyone stay quiet. Tensions are high among Harry's wife and the royal family. Wednesday marks the 25th anniversary of Princess Diana's tragic passing. In a finale that would break their mother's heart, the brothers, who were so once close, remain at odds following Megxit, when Harry and Harry's wife gave up their royal duties and moved to California to raise their children far away from the palace and the royal family. And of course, as I have explained, that was the collateral consequence of her behaviours, is that she's driven a wedge between those two brothers who were once close. But there's even more. This time it comes from The Age, which is an Australian publication. Kate Halfpenny writes, Harry's wife thinks she's Diana, but she's just an entertainer. Dear Diary, a toxic relationship is driving me nuts. There's someone I'm keen to break up with, but she regularly pops up to suck me back into her grudges. She takes mad potshots at her husband's family, even his widowed 96-year-old Nan. She paints herself as an Earth Mum saint while referencing her couture, quote-unquote, fabulousness. She's Trumpesque with the truth, makes every conversation about herself, and thinks she and her husband are psychically joined as palm trees. Yep, I have a Harry's wife problem. I've had it for a while, but now it's next level. In her days as the suit star with a lifestyle blog, Harry's wife seemed quite cool, if California earnest. When she found her prince, it was a genuinely uplifting story. But then our strange friendship started to spiral. She switched from Amazon to victim. She wanted more airtime and money in her stupendous marriage. The in-laws who welcomed her, walked her down the aisle, became drainers, fighting her every move. So she got everything: freedom, a mansion, gorgeous babies. She even got to claim she craved privacy, when what she wanted most were platforms to turn her grievances into content. This week was a blinder for Harry's wife. Having morphed from royal to entertainer, like her husband, who now specialises in cameos in his wife's life, demonstrating his relegation to second-row Harry, she dropped a chart-topping podcast with Mariah Carey and starred in a 6,500-word essay in The Cut. The 25th anniversary of Princess Diana, Diana, Princess of Wales' death, duked it out for airtime with her daughter-in-law's commercial offerings. For her interview, Harry's wife chose the same single black turtleneck, minimal makeup, and bold gaze Diana made famous in a 1991 Vogue cover. Was the Duchess trolling the royals or paying homage? She was doing neither. She was mirroring. Reading the story was a big-time investment. I've had shorter pregnancies, but there were rewards if you like wondering if people are lampooning themselves. The bit where Harry's wife compared her wedding to the freeing of Nelson Mandela, the tidbit that Harry's a beatboxer, her sharing a secret she might get back on Insta. What even? Those parts were terrific, but hanging out with Harry's wife is like the end of a day with kids. Laughter quickly turns to tears. She makes wild claims, grinds axes, makes talk of forgiveness sound threatening. And she's never wrong. When Mariah told her on the podcast, "You give us diva moments sometimes, Harry's wife," it was panic stations for the Duchess. She squirmed so much that she revisited the slight in a monologue in the last 4 minutes. My mind was spinning with what nonsense Mariah must have read. Does she not actually see me? She jumped right in to make sure I was crystal clear that when she said diva, she was talking about the way I dress, the posture. Gold, or dross, and therein lies the issue with Harry's wife. Our every interaction throws up a ton of questions. Why is a champion of victimhood so mesmerizing? Why is her podcast about negative labels attached to women rather than the countless brilliant things we do every day? Why does someone so rich and famous think whinging about her life is a power move? You, of course, all know the answer to this, my valuable viewers. Will she ever find something else to talk about? And what is her endgame? Right about now, Buckingham Palace might want to rethink its softly Sussex strategy. Recollections may vary, was a masterstroke in killer lines, but refusal to engage isn't working. Actually, it is. The Windsors had their problems with Diana, but what Harry's wife has brought to their door is different. She seems to believe she's the princess reborn, absolutely, a warrior soul taking up the Diana baton to fight for her identity against the anachronistic institution of royalty. But Harry's wife is merely an entertainer. Diana was much beloved and, to the very end, an ardent monarchist. The throne is her son William's destiny. She wanted that protected at all costs. I wonder how she would have felt about Harry's wife's moves to use royalty to build her brand, while trashing it at the same time. No, she'd be completely unimpressed, of course. And here we have another individual that recognises that Harry's wife thinks that she's Diana, but she wasn't even fit to lick her little toe on her left foot. I'm HGTudor. Thank you for listening.